stuff. I was realised I was looking up a lot into the mirror.
Yeah.
So
it's good when you're back in the pool again, isn't it? Because you're looking at the mirror, you start to think again. It's see you working through things as you're It's great. Well, yeah. So we're going to start where we always do. I'm going to stick that video on the screen. I want you to say what you see.
So I'm crossing over with my arms into the
particularly with your right entry.
Right arm.
Not too bad though.
My legs are splaying on the kick.
Yeah. Why do you think that is?
Why?
Yeah.
Probably my arms in my arm position.
Yeah, it's balance. Just balance.
Yeah.
It's particularly where you breathe into.
I'm rotating too much as on my head. Like I'm looking over here somewhere.
You're looking backwards a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's definitely true, and that's impacting that balance when you're breathing. Yeah. But let's go through like a bit of a whistle stop of some stuff that we've done already, just one by one in different steps. So you've got an individual thought. Okay?
Yeah.
So what I want you to do first is I want you to swim again, and I want you to start off just with that simple idea of head position and posture.
Yeah.
Okay, right from the beginning. And I want you to think about that reach that we've talked about so many times, but importantly, where are you reaching to? Yeah, I don't want to see you reaching upwards to the surface.
Yeah.
We want to see straight lines there. It's like you said, your balance in the water and your body position in the water is really important. And if you reach up above your head like this, it's seesaw territory. It also means that your next move is always going to be to push water down, which again is going to impact your body position. So, head still, posture, reach, but we want to see these straight lines not reaching up to the surface.
Yeah.
Okay. I found a place that felt about right to me around the 140s in these short bursts. Yeah. So what I'm seeing with your hands, it's just a minor thing, but it's worth fixing, isn't it? Especially when you're just doing these simple routines. I'm seeing you entering the water almost in these kinds of positions. And we don't want it. One, drag. Two, just want you to be as relaxed as you can be above the water.
Yeah.
And we want to be entering these fingertip first patterns, not here. Yeah. We're going to push water, and it looks tense. I don't know if you feel sort of tension above the water. How does it feel?
No, I don't feel too bad.
That's good. It's worth thinking about those things.
Yeah.
And just having a minute. So just rewind that on the screen so you can look. It was better from the off because you weren't reaching upwards so much. Your body position's already looking a bit better.
Yeah.
Straighter.
Straight, yeah.
And that's really all we're trying to do, is reach straight into position from which to find that catch and that pull and that power phase of your stroke, which we'll probably begin playing around with at the end of today's session a little bit. So what do you see there? Better? Head position's better?
Yeah.
Reach is better? Rotation is lovely on this side, on your right.
Yeah.
Not so great on this side when you're breathing.
Yeah.
A lot of that breathing there, if I pause you there, is coming from your torso, from twisting, but your hips are still very flat.
Yeah.
You can see this on the screen.
Yeah, I can see it, yeah. Yeah.
So actually what I want to do is just do a little sequence of swims where we're going to do a swim where you don't breathe.
Yeah.
Where you're just keeping your head still, reaching forward just like you were, and trying to play around and experiment with that rotation on your left.
So yeah.
Hips. Yeah, hips.
Yeah, I see.
You remember the way I described this to you at the beginning was to say, you put your arms up in front of you like this. You reach your left arm forward, you can feel how your hip wants to go. It's about allowing your body to rotate from your hips at that point. Not from your torso.
Yeah,
twisting.
I'm sure that's all.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's just do a couple of bursts where we don't breathe. So you're looking in the mirror, you're able to see really clearly when you're in these kind of positions and when you're a bit flat and twisted.
Yeah.
You can experiment with it. Feel free to really experiment with it. If you go too far, it's the worst happens. You fall over backwards, and I've got an excellent Instagram story. Everyone's a winner.
Yeah, Dale wasn't lying when he said he hadn't done much swimming in the water.
Dale was like, here he is, falling over onto his back like a woodhouse. Right, ready? So head nice and still, reaching in these nice shoulder width straight lines. Good. Play your left hips. Well done. Good. That feel better?
Yeah.
So we're trying to integrate that breathing into that feeling. So do one more for me without breathing, then we're going to bring your breathing back. Good. Well done. Quick breath. Your first one, you're going to see that head moving, I think. I think this is, yeah, look.
Yeah.
Head's moving all over the place there. This last one that you did was better, much more controlled. And we're starting to see these straight lines that I want. Right, let's rewind it. So on your left, that's the position I want you to be in when you breathe. There's no reason you can't breathe in that exact position, right? And it looks very different to the position that you saw in your swim earlier on, where your hips were flat and your torso was twisted. So that's where we want to get you back to.
Right.
Okay?
I see that, yeah.
So start that swim off again without breathing, so just do 3 or 4 strokes like that. And then when you bring your breathing in, really think about reaching into that breath and trying to integrate into that rotation, yeah? So it sounds really simple, but there's a lot on your list actually. Keeping your head still at the top, yeah? Where am I reaching to? Not reaching up to the surface.
Yeah.
Then finding that rotation, and then bringing your breathing into that nice and smoothly. I've seen you do this really well before, so it's just a case of resetting it. Yeah?
Yeah.
Let's do it, okay?
What's that? Yeah, first one.
Hello Sailor thing.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't really do that. There's no reason for you to be doing that at that point, because you're not off balance there.
Yeah.
You're not leaning on that arm. It's just a habit.
Yeah.
or a big part of it is. So I want to just do that swim again, and I want to start thinking about those legs. One way to think about it is to actually tap them a little bit.
Yeah, touch them.
Yeah, just touch them and try to make your kick much smaller. And think this way though. Try to kick through the breath. So as you're reaching and rotating into that breath, for this swim I want you to just kick through it.
Yeah. So
that you can feel when you do this
crazy
Saturday night fever thing with your legs. Alright?
Yeah, got it. Yeah, well, I swallowed a load of water.
I knew something had gone wrong because you suddenly started to lean a lot on the left arm.
Yeah, that one, yeah.
Was that because you were changing your head position? And
I think I was just focusing on my legs a lot.
Yeah.
And then just kind of...
Yeah, I wondered what happened because I haven't seen you doing that for a while.
And then I was like, I need to focus on... I think in between the two of them, I then swallowed some more and I was like, oh, for fuck's sake.
It was better at the beginning, it was definitely better. It's tighter there.
Yeah.
And it's at that point of breathing. Now, let's just keep going with the same thing, what we're doing when we breathe. Let's try to bring in all the little moments that can impact that. So here we start to see that little sort of relative lead.
Yeah.
The phrase you'll hear me say often is we're trying to get your stroke to look near as damn it the same, whether you're breathing or not, right?
Yeah, see that was bad, wasn't it?
Yeah. We're trying to narrow that gap to what the stroke looks like when you're breathing and when you don't.
You can see the big difference between when I'm not leaning and when I am.
Oh yeah, sure. It's all about availability of water.
Yeah.
If you lean on the water, if you use the water like a lever to breathe, simply you can't have it back again. You used it already.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm always on about. That's why I'm so obsessive about breath mechanics, is because it's about you having the availability of water for that next step. What we're going to do with it.
Yeah. So otherwise, every time I'm breathing, I'm basically losing effectiveness. Like stroke, aren't I?
That's why I said this first round, just remember how to do the drill. See what happens when you pause at the front, like you did at the beginning?
Yeah.
Woo! Went down to like 3 minutes under when you did that.
Yeah.
Because you're just literally stalling the water.
Yeah.
And when you stall, everything's difficult because you can't breathe, you sink in.
Yeah.
So that fluidity at the end is much better. Don't bring your hands into the middle.
Yeah. Okay.
I know it's tempting in this drill, and you see kids tapping their hands. Why do kids tap their hands in that drill? Have you got kids?
Yes.
Good, so I can say this, because kids are stupid. So if you don't get them to tap their hands, they probably won't figure out what they're doing in the drill.
Yeah.
But it's a bad habit.
Yeah, you've got to cross over.
You can pass your hands without tapping them at the front. So, so let's go again, find that fluidity. Your goal in this next round is the same one that you were hit and miss with that time. Can you breathe into this position, not over here?
Yeah.
And still completely catch that hand up. We see you reach into this breath here. We see you get your head back in. And we've got the opportunity to catch and pull the water there. which you hadn't got in your full stroke at the moment.
Yeah.
Makes sense?
Yeah, I'll say it.
So I want you to use this drill in your training. So if your man that does the planks hasn't put any drills in, which I didn't see any.
I'll do it as part of the warm-up as well.
Just use this, with that focus in mind. We're going to use it for a lot more than that, but at the moment I want you to make sure of a breathing position. Yeah?
Yeah.
So let's do that again, and let's add in the next step of the sequence that I want you to think about, which would be, when does our head come back to neutral? That's not bad, Dale. Not bad. Nice and early. Yeah. I want that to be a focus here. So you're within the drill again, we're teasing out, stretching out that whole part of your stroke. So you're going reach into breath, head, catch up.
Yeah.
The earlier your head comes back into the water, well, I'll make it simpler. We're trying to make your stroke look the same, whether you're breathing or not.
Yeah.
The biggest difference between you when you're breathing and you when you're not, is your head.
Yeah.
So if your head's back in, you'll know this from your own job.
Yeah.
If your head's in a nice, neutral, stable position, everything's right, balanced. Power's balanced, your ability to do everything. Same as like doing a pull-up with your head turned to the side.
Yeah.
It's going to massively imbalance your body. I'm going to show you an extreme example of this. I don't want you to copy this, as I said, extreme example, but this is Nathan Adrian. Watch. He knows that, right? He's sprinting.
Yeah.
Watch how quick his head's back in.
Yeah.
Just going to look. So where are you reaching to? Are you catching up the hand that you're reaching onto? And now we're adding on the, can we get our head back into neutral, that fraction earlier? While your left hand in this drill is still out in front of you, which is not a minute. See? You guys tap that left up. Good. There, that's it. Now we get our head back in a little bit more. It ruined your drill, didn't it?
Yeah.
It became your priority, basically.
Yeah.
That's how, unfortunately, that's how human brains work. So when that became your priority, you lost your left arm again. How fragile it is, right? I'll show you. Yeah, so here, head's coming back in early, but you're moving that arm at the same time your head's in, so you're not catching up anymore there.
Yeah.
See? I do like these videos when you try and get me a thumbs up midway, especially when you're doing a drill. Like a simple nod at the head would be fine. I'm watching you under the water.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it got better here when I really forced the issue. That's what I want to see. In this sequence within this drill, I want to see you reach the arm forward, that's a lovely position. I want to see that head back in before anything else happens. Because we have the advantage in this drill of genuinely being in the same position you would have been in if you'd not been breathing. This one, you see on the screen.
Yeah.
So now it's about what happens next, isn't it? And we'll start that process today, right? We'll start thinking about and remind you about this. Well, all of it's going to be within this drill for now. So what do we want to see? What's catch? Talk to me about how you want to see, what do you want to see from your arm next?
Elbow up.
Okay.
Palm facing down.
Yeah.
And then kind of, it's not, you want to see a straight arm.
Yeah, I would say that this isn't bad, is it?
Yeah.
We've seen, that's not bad.
It's a lot better than what I've done previously.
Yeah, it is. And the reason it's there, like that, in this drill, is because you've got time.
Yeah.
And that's what I really want you thinking about when you're doing this.
Yeah.
It's not bad, but we can do better.
Yeah.
So how do you process it in terms of the kind of the movement you're looking for? How do you think about finding that mystical word catch within your swing?
I just literally think about bringing my elbow up slightly. I just basically think about bending my elbow as well, obviously not having a straight arm.
Yeah. Do you ever think about your shoulder?
Not really.
It's worth maybe thinking about your shoulder, right? Yeah, do that again, do it slowly. So you said to send your elbow forward and keep it high.
Yeah.
Try to do that without lifting your shoulder, it's impossible.
Yeah.
So often when I'm swimming, or certainly when I'm accelerating, I'm trying to swim fast and make sure I can catch. My elbow kind of knows what to do, but I often think about that external rotation of my shoulder.
Yeah.
Because it's what allows me to make sure that I'm reaching into the catch, not just dropping into one.
Yeah.
So the tricky bit here is that I want this to all be worked on within the confines of this drill. So the sequence we've got so far is reach into breath, head back in, catch up. We're doing everything one at a time in a stretched out process. So you're here, and then you're going to think about your shoulder, your elbow, and you're going to see if you can find that catch position that we've seen before. You know, this is just the beginnings of starting to play around with that again. And I know that I've seen you do this a lot worse, and I've also seen you do this better.
Yeah.
Okay? I've also seen this completely throw your stroke out the window. Let's be honest, that's why I want to do it within the confines of a drill for now. Alright? So find the rhythm first. Don't worry about that catch and that elbow at all until you feel that all those other parts of this sequence are in place. Bring those hands in. Good. Head back in, onto the back hand front. Then catch. Between things there at that point, because we've almost kind of gone, right, here's that sequence, we're going to go through it all one by one so you understand it, but then we got to this breaking point, didn't we, where actually, because the other bits weren't feeling natural to you, you couldn't then add something else.
Yeah, it was tricky.
Yeah,
so I want my head back in the water before my arm comes, whilst the left arm's still in place.
Yeah, in this drill, yeah.
And then obviously once we get to that point, then I'm looking at what I'm doing with my shoulder and elbow to the catch.
And I think that's the step 2-5 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, I was I didn't feel like I got into a good rhythm with that.
Yeah, it looked that way too. Your elbow was leading quite a lot, so let's just revisit some of the kind of fundamentals of this catch part, right? So when I'm talking to people, I find myself saying the same things about this quite a lot. The first one is that catch, this movement, isn't part of your pull, it happens first.
Yeah.
And that seems obvious when you say it, but it's not obvious when you're swimming. When you're in this reached position, stretched out in front of you, all your instincts are to start pulling, not to add in a step before you start moving the water.
Yeah.
So it's difficult take a stretch before pull. Yeah. In this drill where we've stretched out that sequence so much, you can afford to actually, it'll feel clunky, but you can afford to actually go one at a time.
Yeah.
Find that position, get your head in, find that position, find that one, pull. Actually just work through it, think it through. Where's my elbow?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not going to have all that time when you're back in your full stroke and your normal stroke, but you do in this drill and pull through. You don't need to, you literally have time to just sort of experiment with what you're doing with your arm. Alright?
Yeah.
I really do know myself.
I knew it was coming. You give me the clues.
Is that all making sense today?
Yeah.
So let's take a breather, right, and think about what we've gone through, what we've done. Go back to the start of the session, think about those reset things. So what would you put on the list? What do we start with?
Not reaching up into the or out of the water.
Yeah.
Full rotation.
Left side.
Including hips.
Yeah.
Head position.
You can't use the snorkel at your pull, can you? But it's a shame. It's the best way. But it's
So annoying it is.
yeah, it's a really nice way to work
Yeah.
rotation. But anyway, sorry.
Yeah, full rotation including hips. Head position on breathing and just in general, to be honest. And where I'm looking.
Yeah.
Obviously we've done the worked on the catch position there slightly, and then obviously my feet, what they're doing,
Yeah.
kicking through stroke.
Yeah. Let's simplify that a little bit, your list. So the stuff we said at the beginning, which is basic body position stuff, where am I reaching to?
Yeah.
Is my rotation coming on both sides nice and balanced?
Yeah.
We integrate the breathing into it more.
Yeah.
So we're not twisting into your breath.
Yeah.
Yeah? Those are the keys. Those are the keys to make natural now. They're the ones you should prioritise. What we then did in the second half was we said, right, let's use this catch-up drill to stretch out this sequence and try to make your stroke look a bit more, narrow that gap between you when you're breathing and you when you're not.
Yeah.
So as long as that sequence we did at the end makes sense, you can practice it easily in your warm-ups and in your sets that you're doing. But good job. You know, when you think about it, if you think back, considering how long you've been out of the water, I think you're in a pretty decent place swim-wise.
It's not too bad. I mean,
No, there's work to do, but
I think about it from where, I mean, we had a shorter time last time. Think about from where I started last time. to where I'm now. I'm in a much better place with my foundations, so just improve them a bit and I'll work on them a lot, and then, you know, I'll get there, definitely.
No,
it don't look too bad. I'm actually more happy with how it looks than what I thought it would be.
Yeah. Your starting point is so much better, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you're going to really build on that this year, I imagine. Try to see in some weeks, see if you can get that third swimming.
Yeah.
The more water time you get now, will certainly well.
Yeah, definitely.
I know it's difficult, but if you can get that extra one in now and again, it'll be good.
Yeah.
Alright, should we call it there for today?
That's good, mate.
Well done.
Thank you.
I'll ping you some of these, mate.
Yeah, right, thank you. Didn't drown.
Held it well quite together at the end, I think. Held it well quite together at the end as well, I think.
That's right, isn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe trying to like teach your kids like where they're supposed to put their arm in the clothes, but
Was that holy before?
I think it's just ripped.
Oh.
So there we go. I know how to get dressed now. Maybe I need to go back to real basics.